I see my wall of gray where the dark is on. I need a light. Love's the way I'll find. I see a wall of blue. I know the faith I'll need when loving you inside a storm of fear.
If we don't remember, then love alone lights our soul. If we don't remember, then love alone brings us home. On the river of love, I'll reach to you. On the river of sorrow, I'll know your fears. On the river of rain, I'll dry your tears. And on the river of life, I'll have you near. On the river of love.
On the road where I stood so long ago, I knew your soul. I'm holding on, but faith comes and goes. Can I touch without the need to hold? Can I know love when I let you go?
If we don't remember, then love alone lights our soul. If we don't remember, then love alone brings us home. On the river of love, I'll reach to you. On the river of sorrow, I'll know your fears. On the river of rain, I'll dry your tears. And on the river of life, I'll have
Good morning. I am Reverend Ogun Holder, honored and humbled to serve as your senior minister. If you're comfortable, I want to invite you to stand, take the hand of the person next to you as we ground ourselves in this present moment by singing together, Surely the Presence. God is in this place because you are here. You are the expression, the essence, the very embodiment of the one power and the one presence we call God. And as we come together today to celebrate spiritual community, we know that together we are the expression of oneness. We're the expression of all that is good. We are that which we are seeking. With open heart, I give great thanks for you being here today. Steeped in joy, steeped in the fabulousness that you are. You make this look good. And so it is. So let it be. Amen. Have a seat. Let's do some singing. Let's do some singing.
Show me your ways, that I may walk with you. Show me your ways. I put my hope in you. The cry of my heart is to love you more, to live with the touch of your hand, stronger each day. Show me your ways. Show me your ways, that I may walk with you. Show me your ways, yeah. I put my hope in you. The cry of my heart is to love you more, to live with the touch of your hand, stronger each day. Show me your ways. Show me your ways, that I may walk with you. Show me your ways, oh yeah. I put my hope in you. The cry of my heart is to love you more, to live with the touch of your hand, stronger each day. Show me your ways, stronger each day. Show me your ways. Woo! Maggie Rayne and the lovely choir. Yay! Thank you, band.
Thank you all, Mora Band and Choir. Good morning. Welcome to Unity on the River. I'm Reverend Carol Walrazak, and I will be facilitating along with Reverend Ogun Holder. And we have a guest speaker today. Happy that Cyndi Swall is back with us. Hi, Cyndi. And some of you may not know her, a lot of us do, but I will introduce her more fully later in the service. Unity on the River is a service of celebration, inspiration, transformation, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. So let's hold those truths in our heart as we say together the mission and vision statement. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. Centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. So what I'd like to do is welcome the streamers once again, if we can all wave to them and say, welcome, streamers. We really are so glad that you're with us. Streaming seems to be almost a ministry in itself now. We have so many people who are joining us. Also, if there are any new people, could you please raise your hand? And good, keep them up, because we have a flower and a welcome packet for you. Our ushers are bringing them around. Got some people up front. Anybody else? Keep those hands up. Wonderful. Special welcome to you for being here. And what you can do is, you notice you have the welcome packet. There is a card on the front. If you would fill that out. And out in hospitality, there is a table, any questions that you might have, and you could leave the card with them. Also, please join us in hospitality afterwards. Just know you enrich our lives, and we do believe in all paths to God here at Unity.
At this moment, we're going to have a special few moments and invite a special group of people up. I'd like the Board of Trustees or 2015 Board of Trustees to please come forward. Now, stand down there so people can see you. You know, they don't need to see me. I'm all right. Come on, forward. Come on, up front. There you go. Don't be all hiding back here. People want to see you. Yeah, of course you should be here. Of course you should be here. Are we all here? Do we got everyone? I think so. Oh, there's Paul. I couldn't see you behind. There you go. We got everyone. So today it is my privilege to present our Board of Trustees for 2015. We're blessed to have a board membership that is well-grounded in truth principles, supportive of our spiritual needs, and holders of the high consciousness, encouraging the transformation experience, and capable of providing the stewardship necessary to maintain our physical facilities and needs as well. They're called the Board of Trustees rather than the Board of Directors, for they are truly holders of a sacred trust, the trust of this church community and the trust they have in God. So to the board of this congregation, and I want to thank you for stepping forward to take on this role. Board membership is a commitment of time, of energy, and of wisdom, and it's also a journey guided by love and the realization of oneness. We know that you have made the well-being of this center and of this congregation a priority in your lives. So I'm going to ask now that you affirm the commitment you've made by answering yes to the following questions. That is the only option you have, yes. Just making sure you're clear. So I'll answer the question and a nice loud resounding yes after each one. Are you prepared to discharge the duties and responsibilities of a board member of Unity on the River? Are you willing to meditate and pray for and with our church family? You could be a little louder, that's okay. Are you willing to make governance decisions that support our church mission statement? There we go. Are you willing to envision growth and programming to manifest God's will for our church, to discern appropriate actions that best fulfill our church vision? Are you willing to listen and be responsive to the church congregation, the staff, and me, of course, the minister? Glad you said yes to that one. Are you willing to hold sacred space and integrity around the responsible management of all church affairs? And are you willing to form a healthy partnership with other board members and the community to serve as part of the whole with full realization of our oneness? So, on behalf of the congregation of Unity on the River in Amesbury, I hereby install you as the 2015 Board of Trustees in love and service to Unity on the River, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining to your offices. As I call your names, Carol, where's Carol, will present you with a rose. This represents the beauty and the love of your soul and the commitment that you have made to us. As I call each person's name, please show them love with a little bit of applause. First up, our president, the Right Honorable. Grounded, Paula Jorgensen. Our vice president and ever the support of wonderfully inspired ideas to get me out in the cold, Elaine Gaffney. Our treasurer, and I'm so glad he's here because math is hard, Peter Stringham. Our secretary, the man who remembers, well, at least he writes everything down so the rest of us don't have to remember, thank you, God. John Mayer. Where's John? All right. Also, but John's not here. Where's John? Oh, I guess John is not here today. Returning to the board, or returning champions, I like to call. First up, John Wernsdorfer. And Mark Schneider. And a special welcome to our newest members. I love it when new members join the board because, you know, they have really got that this place of service is truly the next highest level of their commitment to this organization. And we're so thrilled to have them on and the wisdom they're bringing. Elaine Falvey. And Tina Michelle Gray. So I'm going to ask everyone to stand for a moment. extend your hands and we're going to bless them. We're going to give them the unity blessing, which is simply, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. Give them some extra love. Thank you, guys. I went on we had a board retreat yesterday working with Cyndi, and I can tell you that I was already excited to be here and take on this role as your minister, but working with these guys is like the icing on the cake. They're an amazing board, and I look forward to things we do together. At this time, let us stand. We're going to greet each other with a handshake or a hug and a namaste, beholding the Christ.
So let's all take a breath together. And it's time to let go and surrender our small self to our larger self. And we're also going to let go of snow because it is going. We affirm and see. Surrender, 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 let go. Let go. All the ways that you appear, all the losses that you fear, all the things you thought you knew, all the doingness of you. Let go. All the roads you've done before, your accomplishments and more. For all those roads you've traveled on will be stardust, they will be gone. Let go. Abandon yourselves to the only one. Abandon yourself. yourself to the only one. Abandon yourself. All the longing to be right, all the wars you need to fight, all the plans that you have made, all the debts you never paid. Let go. Your body and your mind, all you got to find. Nothing left to hold on to, just the love that washes through. Let go. Abandon yourself to the only one. Abandon yourself. Abandon yourself to the only one. Abandon yourself to God. Let go.
Well, it's an honor to introduce our speaker today, Cyndi Swall. And I have to say, I first met Cyndi in the transformation experience here. She actually was our partner and consultant guide for 3 years to bring us to and up to transition. She worked with Reverend Shipley Allenson, and it's just so great, Cyndi, that you're back with us, continuing to guide us. We love your sense of humor, the wisdom that you bring us, and also your expertise. Cyndi is a leadership coach, keynote speaker, and she's known to her life coaching clients as the Bliss Mentor. She sees us, she loves us, she's here for us. Let's give a warm unity welcome to our dear friend, Cyndi Swall.
Makes me cry, and I can talk then after that. Oh, there we go. There it is. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. No, it was good for me. I have 3 brothers. We'll just keep on going. What's that? There you go. You're such a problem solver. That's why you're the boss. That's right. All right. Is that better? Is this one on,
That's
Jay?
not, until I go back there, that doesn't go on.
Okay. I'll just take We good? All right. How am I doing? Whew. Oh, yeah. I'm on. Whew. Does this microphone make my butt look fat? No? Good. Okay. What'd you say, yeah? Okay, then. Oh, you know, when we're 20 years old, we are so worried about what everybody thinks about everything that we do, right? And then when we turn 40 years old, we don't really care what people think of us anymore, right? And then when you turn 60, you realize that nobody was really thinking about you at all. It's true. So, did your parents ever say to you that same statement that we probably all heard, which is, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you, right? You're like, what? You know, your younger ego doesn't even know how to respond to that information, does it? Because it just doesn't even register, it doesn't compute, right? So as a result of that, we spend years and years just spinning cycles and doing activities for things that really don't add any meaning or joy to our lives at all. So we spend a whole lot of time staying busy, right? And so one of the things we know for sure is that just because your outlook is full doesn't mean you're doing anything, right? So I'm here to really talk to you today about learning how to release some of those things that our personality busies us with that just keeps us ultimately busy doing non-essential activities and creating all kinds of toxic emotions for us, right? Would that be helpful? Okay. I don't know if it was just me that's dealing with that, but I mean, I don't mean to imply that nobody cares about you and no one's ever thinking about you, because clearly they do. But it was a really sobering and I would say liberating experience for me when I finally figured out that even though I have lots of fabulous people in my life that love me very much, they're really not terribly concerned about whether I'm having a bad hair day, right? Or whether or not my house is clean when they stop by, right? It's a non-issue for people. And so, did you plan hecklers here? I'm going to assume that that's how I know that you love me, right? I have an Italian mother. Oh, yeah, I have a bipolar mother. I win. That's true. So it turns out that people apparently have their own lives and they're concerned and focused on their own stuff. It's really interesting to me that really they're not losing any sleep whatsoever in the things that are posted on my Facebook wall. Who knew? Right? So you don't worry nearly as much about your branding when you don't think people are sitting there waiting for your next product to come out. You know, what's she going to do now? You know, and so being able to kind of do things at my own pace in my own way, and so really being able to realize this is truly instrumental to letting go of the things that no longer serve us, so that we can really open up to the fabulosity that we have come here to be. I think you used that word earlier. You said something similar. Fabulousness, yeah. I was like, I've never heard anybody else use that. I was like, I like him. You can keep him. I like him, yeah. He's a keeper. So as a coach, certainly in my personal and in my executive work, I will tell you over and over again, one of the first questions that I ask people when I start that engagement is I'll say, talk to me about what you value most in the world. And what do you think they say to me? Yeah, so they say all the right things, right? They say family, their health, their faith, whatever. So they list all these things that are super important to them. So the next thing I ask them then is to show me their calendar over the course of the last 6 months. And what do you think I find? There's very little evidence ever to support that any of those things are of any value to them. Here's an interesting and absolutely useless piece of trivia I'm going to share with you. You might want to write this down. The word priority was actually only a singular term all up until really even the 1900s. It wasn't considered plural until like 1940. Isn't that crazy? So for 500 years after the word priority was inserted into the English language, it was a singular term. In the United States, isn't that cool? Yeah, you want to just gestate on that for a minute, don't you? Yeah. It's like, what? That's crazy. So what happened? So in the United States and also in Asia, we are the only two countries, or the only two continents, North America and Asia, that quite frankly think multitasking is a skill. It's true. No one else values that. So it's all about getting stuff done. And coincidentally, I'm sure it's totally a coincidence that the US and Japan have the highest death rates of stress-related illness of anybody else in the world. Literally, truly, the Japanese insurance companies have a literal term, an official name for death by overworking. It's called karoshi. Have you heard of that? It's an actual term, and they pay out insurance on it for working too much. Isn't that crazy? Karoshi. In the United States, we just call it a heart attack or a stroke or a colon cancer, right? We do, and then we just blame it on bad genes, right? That's what we say. But the truth is, it has to do with trying to overfunction as human beings, and we get very, very skilled at it, and we're kind of proud of those functions. So it's something for us to keep in mind, that certainly as a coach, there's some areas I'm going to share with you that are going to be more useful to you. For most of us, obviously, we have stress causes more of, I would say, a less literal form of death, but it impacts us in the way of declines in our relationships, and quite frankly, just general motivation to drag our carcass out of bed in the morning and do what it is that we need to do. So, as a general rule, and I think it's Eckhart Tolle says that basically most human beings are functioning at a level of what he calls considerable human dysfunction, which means most of the time we're dysfunctional. Do you believe that? All right, so, and also clinical depression is up tenfold since 1989, tenfold. Now, I'm not telling you all this stuff to bum you out. You're like, thank you, Cyndi, I'm really glad I came. So inspiring, that was great. But here's the good news, are you ready for the good news? Okay, good. The good news is, you're a grown-up now. And one of the primary unity principles is that we are responsible for what we experience, for creating the experience that we are having in life. That is the primary unity principle. And the final unity principle is even more important, which is it's not enough to have knowledge of the principles, you have to act on them. Well, they didn't tell us that part. Right? So now you have to actually not just know the principles and be able to speak the principles, but be a moral compass for the principles. And so if you don't know what the principles are, there's only 5 of them. Google them. Unity principles. There's only 5, right? Or they're right behind my head. Thank you. So, okay then. One of the most powerful ways that we can do those things to live the principles is to wake up to what our habits are, how we're spending our time, the thoughts that we're thinking. Now, you're thinking on average about 65,000 thoughts a day, right? So clearly, it's not only not scalable to try to monitor all your thoughts, it's slightly neurotic, so don't do it, right? So, but all you want to do is you want to catch yourself at that point of trigger so that you can replace, right? So people ask me all the time, it's like, how do you get rid of these habits that you have that you've done over and over and over again? And we'll talk a little bit about what some of those are. But the truth is, you can't get rid of something by pushing it away. We all know that, right? What you resist persists, right? You can't focus on it. The only way, so if you're like, okay, don't think about pink elephants. Don't think about pink elephants. And that's why we aren't successful. Hey, Jim, I see you there. Sorry, had a moment. So you can't do that, right? You have to replace the thought. So you have to replace the thought, or you have to replace the habit. So we're going to talk a little bit about triggers as well as we start to move into this. It's not so much what we add to our lives that creates happiness for us, a lot of times it's what we're willing to let go of. I loved your song, Meg, about being able to release that and surrender. There was one line I liked in particular because, and I'm going to butcher it, but it was something like, let go of unpaid debt or something. What was the line? All the debts you haven't paid. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so powerful, because we spend so much energy on what we coulda, shoulda, woulda said, right? You know, you lay awake at night and you're like, oh, I can't believe I didn't say that, right? Or we lament situations where we can't go back and reframe those. So we have to understand that we have one moment in time to be able to do that. As a Bliss mentor, I will tell you, in my Bliss mentor work, there are a few things, bless you, there are a few things that you can do, or a few key areas, quite frankly, and I want you to look at, that if you can release in these primary areas, and believe me, there's plenty of areas that we all have to release in, but there's 4 that are really pretty primary, that encompass a lot of things that create angst for most of the people that I talk to. So I'm going to share those with you really quickly. So, and we'll talk about each one of them specifically. The first one, relationships. The second one, habits and thinking, which pretty much impacts everything. The other piece is just the stuff that we collect. And then finally, we're in a place of service, so I have to talk about philanthropy. I just do, right? Because we are in a ministry, and I know you people, right? So we really need to talk about service and philanthropy. So when we look at all 4 of those pieces, I'm going to start with relationships. And this one is really tough, by the way, because people don't like to think of other people as disposable, do we? So we do everything we can to try to salvage whatever that relationship is. And that is a very loving place to be. And at the same time, you have to put yourself in a healthy place, too, to have an understanding of sometimes when to know when that relationship has run its course. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships either. I want you to think about business associates that are not in alignment with your vision. I want you to think about family members that probably could warrant a little bit more distance than they have. And I'm talking about your peripheral friends, right, that suck the life out of you, and you know who they are, right? So the ones that if you are a giver by nature, you will tend to attract those types of people, right? So just understanding how you can draw that line in the sand to create healthy boundaries in your relationships. I'm also reminded that sometimes you have to release people that bring a great deal of joy into your life. Those of us who are a lot of us who are baby boomers are saying goodbye to our parents, right? There's no way to prepare for that. For me, I have a 17-year-old daughter. Most of you have met her. Her name is Mariah. I know, Katie's going to make me cry. Stop! She is my home entertainment center and a really amazing kid. Feel free to ooh and ah. She's up there. So that's my girl, and she is going into her senior year of high school, right? I have been a single mom since she was about 2.5 years old, and I will tell you, we are a team, right? We're a team, and we're a good team, and we rock together, and I'm so excited for her, and I'm so happy for what's coming up for her in the future. But I got to tell you, we are going through this challenge right now. Sometimes she's such an adult, right? And she's so independent, and I think, she doesn't really need me right now. She really is on that path of independence, and then she'll have a bad dream, and she'll come upstairs and crawl in bed with me. And I realize that, she's just still a child, right? But going through that process of releasing has been really big for both of us. She's actually at a rally, a YOU, Youth of Unity rally this weekend in Boulder, Colorado, yeah, where they have less snow than you do. And so she's at this rally in Boulder, Colorado, and she got ready to leave, and I'm watching her do all of these independent things, right? She made the arrangements herself. She filled out her paperwork online. She put gas in her car. She packed her bags. She's all ready to go. She's walking out the door, and she's like barely has time to say goodbye. She walks out the door, and I was like, this is it. My days are limited. Here we are. And she did not get an hour down the road, and I got a text from her saying, Mommy, I miss you already. I can't wait to come home. I'm just like, oh, I know. That's my girl. Okay, so anyway, enough of that. So the idea, the point that I'm getting to is that sometimes we have to release people for their good, right? Not necessarily for ours. And so part of the releasing process that we all go through is that people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And we don't necessarily know what that is when we engage with people. But we certainly know with our children that it's, there's a period of time that they belong to us and a period of time that they do not. So I just wanted to share with that with you too. As we go back and look at the list here, thank you. The next one I really want to talk about is habits. Alexandra Stoddard, who writes all kinds of books around creating your space for yourself, what she says to us is you are never at a choiceless moment. Never. You're always making decisions about what you're going to eat and where you're going to turn, and what you're going to do next in your life, right? So you're never at a choiceless moment, and you are never at a loss as to making decisions around those things. But we tend to get in habitual thought, and the problem is when we have habitual thoughts are spurred, quite frankly, just by our belief systems, and all a belief is a thought that you think over and over and over again, right? So then you have this belief system this thought that creates a belief that creates our habits, and then our habits become our life. And so I don't want you to wake up 10 years from now and wonder what happened to the last 10 years of your life because you were just spinning cycles. So we have to be awake to what is going on for us. It's crucial for us to be able to do that. So generally speaking, two things can't occupy the same space at the same time, so we need to talk about making sure that those habits are really serving us. I read an article, in fact, I'm going to try to figure it. Oh, no, it was a book. Actually, David Dow wrote a book called What I Learned from Dying. Has anybody ever read that? He's like a execution, death row penalty attorney or whatever. Anyway, so he's seen all kinds of death. Yeah, just an amazing guy. And so he talks about the triggers, right? And how if we can identify the triggers of our behavior, we can change the behavior. Right, so there's something that triggers. So if you have something you continue to do, and you think about your New Year's resolutions, right? What shows up on your New Year's resolutions every single year, after year after year? Or what shows up on your performance review at work, year after year after year, right? So those are the kind of things that we want to try to change that trigger. So for example, one of the things that I wanted to start doing is I wanted to really get in the habit of the first thing I get up in the morning is really calling into spirit, spending some time before I ever put my feet on the floor, setting my intention for the day, having a little talk with God, doing what I need to do to kind of really set the stage for my day. Well, here's the challenge with that, is that in this new age of technology, my alarm clock, where do you think my alarm clock is? In my phone, right? Well, isn't that great? It's a device that does everything we need it to do. Well, what happens once you got your phone in your hand? Yeah, I'm looking at my email, I'm texting, I'm checking my Facebook, And so, and it's not even that I'm consciously doing it. It's just that it's in my hand, and that's what my brain thinks that you're supposed to do when your phone is in your hand, right? And so what I did is I went and bought a $15 alarm clock, and I plug in my phone across the room now so that I don't have that trigger anymore, because that was my trigger. If you're trying to lose weight, and you guys have a Dunkin' Donuts pretty much on every block in Massachusetts. When my daughter and niece were here, that was part of the game we played. We counted Dunkin' Donuts. We were going They counted 48 Dunkin' Donuts in 3 days, and they couldn't repeat one, right? So there was no repeating. So there's a lot of Dunkin' Donuts, right? So if that's the habit, if you've got a Dunkin' Donuts basically at the corner where you turn to pull into your office and it triggers a thought for you, do you see where you're going with that? Right? And it's not even conscious. You might not even be hungry, but that is the trigger that you have. So once you're able to identify what are those triggers, then you can replace the behavior. Does that make sense? So triggers are really important to us as it talks about replacing information for ourselves. Okay, let's talk about the physical stuff. In the book Essentialism, one of the things he says is that we overvalue our stuff. In our society, and don't get me wrong, like I'm all about the creature comforts, right? However, so this book was not about, it wasn't anti-stuff, it was anti-too much stuff, right? Our houses are getting bigger, our families are getting smaller. The storage unit business has increased exponentially. It's like the number 2 franchise in the United States right now. Storage units. Go buy one. Because what happens is we fill our house and then we start filling storage units with our overflow. Isn't that crazy? I mean, how much stuff do you really need, right? As Don Henley says, you don't see no hearses with luggage racks, right? You don't. Can't take it with you. And the truth is, it becomes a distraction, right? This stuff, one of the things, and I love beautiful things around me, but what I've learned to do is to edit the things that are in my house and just keep the stuff that I really, really love. Because right now, oh, it's my earring, sorry. Can we take it off? Where's Sheila? I need Sheila to come take my earring off for me. So I miss her. Okay, so where was I? Oh, stuff, okay. Too much stuff. In fact, I was reading an article in the airline magazine when I was flying here, and the article was called Stuffication. Isn't that great? I was like, I have to read that, right? It's right on target to what I'm talking about, stuffication, right? And what they were talking about, quite frankly, is how that we evaluate our worth based on what we have, not who we are. So I am what I have. I am what I have. We talked about that yesterday in our board meeting, right? So when boards start to struggle is when they get in the pattern of identifying that I am what I have. And so figure that out. We do that with everything. When I was a teenager, I never got to shop for clothing without my mother. And I love my mother. I know I pick on her, but she's an amazing person. But I will tell you, she would never let me go clothes shopping by myself. She didn't trust me to buy my own clothes, right? And more than anything, she had a vision for what I was supposed to look like, right? And so she didn't have anything growing up, so she wanted to make sure I had the best of everything. So we always went clothes shopping, and she bought me everything that she looks fabulous in. Right? My mother is French and Indian. She's dark. She's got brunette hair, she has brown eyes, she wears jewel tones, and she looks fantastic. She can wear red lipstick and look super exotic. I put on red lipstick, I look like an Irish hooker. You know, it's not a good look. You don't want to see it. Right. So what I learned is that when I was about 30 years old, I went through my closet, and I'm looking through my closet trying to figure out what I was going to wear to work, and I realized I didn't hardly have anything in my closet that I would buy. Right? I prefer my clothes tailored. I prefer jeans and a t-shirt. You know, I had a style, and my mother can carry, she has a bigger than life personality, right? So she can carry up lots of bling, lots of shoulder pads, lots of, you know, she's just big and powerful in her energy. So I just went through, and I went through my closet, and I pulled out literally bags and bags and bags of stuff. I probably had 3 pairs of pants and a couple of 3 shirts left by the time I got done, and I wore them over and over and over again until I could rebuild my wardrobe. But it allowed me to release the things that were imposed on me, not intentionally and not maliciously, but that I accepted, right? So we're responsible for that. And that's why a lot of times people will not go to that place because they don't want to admit that they are responsible for anything that's going on in their life. So a lot of people really struggle with that concept. Be willing to release whatever does not serve you anymore as it relates to stuff, right? As it relates to stuff. Okay, philanthropy. I have to talk about this one because I'm at Unity on the River, who has created a legacy of being in service. It's part of who you are. It's part of what makes you thrive. It's part of why everyone feels so enveloped in your love when they walk in the door here. There is a resonance field of care in this room, is there not? So people walk in the room and they'll go, I don't know what's going on, but I'll have what they're having, right? I just want some of that. And so they continue to come back, right? So that service is really important. But I am here to challenge you to make sure that you are doing everything because you are called to, not because someone called you, right? And Eric Walrzak is going to kill me when I get done. But the truth is, understanding, and there's a process that you can go through to really identify your spiritual gifts so you can figure out if you want to contribute to the ministry or to any place in your life that you know what those things are. And I've told you all several stories about ways in which I've contributed in not effective ways. Right, like skinning chickens for the homeless and stuff like that. I don't skin chickens in my own house, right? So it's just was not a good fit for me. Let's just put it that way, right? So understanding that whatever it is, and there's some criteria you can use for selection as far as what you're going to do, right? So you ask yourself the question, first of all, am I good at it, right? Because the truth is, if you volunteer to do something that you are not skilled at or you don't like to do, you're not doing anybody a service, are you? And you're taking away from somebody else who really does love that. So it's important to keep that in mind. So the first one is, are you good at it? The second one is, are you inspired by it? Does it serve your soul? And then finally, is it a need that the world has that you're passionate about? And if it is, then it's yours to do. But if it doesn't meet that criteria, then it's okay to defer that to somebody else. You also have to release the need to be all things to all people. You have to release the need to be perfect in some way. I mentioned I was raised by a mother who's bipolar. At the time, they didn't even know how to diagnose that. They didn't even know what it was, right? So we had, let's just say everything that happened in our life was magnified. So if you know anybody who's been bipolar, it's like before you're medicated or before you have the chemical balances equalized in your brain, it creates huge highs and lows for people. And it was very challenging for her. So when she was manic, in places of manic, and we would have we didn't have birthday parties. We had circus tents, right? We had events We invited everyone, right? Invitations went out. So it was just, everything was a massive event. So I grew up thinking that you can't have people over at your house if you don't have like frosty mugs in the freezer to pour beer in, right? Because you're not prepared for that. And so it was very difficult for me in letting go of the need to be perfect. And I learned it the hard way, and some of you may have heard the story where I almost cut my finger off. So that's my owie finger. See, it's crooked? My owie finger. When my daughter was going into kindergarten, we had a big kid party for her. In our big kid party, right the day before that, I was standing outside in my pajamas in my backyard having my coffee, and I noticed that I'd already mowed the grass, cleaned up all the weeds and everything, and there was one ivy growing up, a glass bird bath. And it really bothered me. I was like, oh, somebody's going to see that, right? So I go out in my pajamas, I set my coffee down, and I reach down to pull this bird bath out. It's glass, remember? Snaps in half. Sheared my finger all the way to the bone. I will spare you the details because it was icky. So I'm driving to the hospital with my hand out the window in my pajamas, right, trying to get this fixed. And then I call my girlfriend because I've got this party the next day, right? So I'm still thinking about the party. So I call her. My daughter's in kindergarten, remember? She's not even in kindergarten yet. So I call my girlfriend, Pam, and I say, here's what's going on. I'm at the hospital. Can you come over tomorrow? She's like, wait, what were you doing? And I explained it to her again. And she said, I thought these were kindergartners. And I said, yeah, it's a kindergarten party. And she said, well, for God's sake, Cyndi, she goes, just turn on the sprinkler and put hot dogs on the grill. You don't have to make topiary out of your shrubs. Yeah. I know. It sounds really funny, but it was like I really didn't get that. So that was the awakening for me. One moment at a time, you have got to lighten your load. Be honest with yourself about what wears you out. Get very clear with yourself about what brings you joy, and do more of that. Replace it with more of that. Really take a look at it. I'm going to challenge you to go home and look at your own calendar and align it with your values and the things that you say are most important to you. In your daily meditation, I'm going to encourage you to take the time to listen. Listen carefully. And as you closely listen, what you are going to hear is a sound that of everything that doesn't matter disappear. Thank you for letting me spend my morning with you. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Cyndi. Let's take a few moments to go into meditation, as she says, and begin to listen to what is ours to release.
Into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your hands I commit my soul. Into your hands I surrender. Into your hands, oh Lord. Into your hands, into your hands, into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your hands, into your hands I commit my soul. I commit my soul. Into your hands, into your hands I surrender. I surrender.
to surrender into the hands of the divine, we take time now to sit in the silence. Allow ourselves to focus into this now moment by centering on our breath. Allow our breath to pull us in to ourselves. As we breathe deeper into ourselves. We surrender that which no longer serves. Not just in the outside of our lives, but more importantly on the inside of our lives. So we breathe and allow ourselves to fall into that place of surrender. And in doing so, we allow the Spirit of the One, power and the One, presence that is God within, guide us to the clarity of what is ours to release. To empower us with the strength to release the parts of us we hold most dear. It is only in releasing the small self of us that the infinite divine self of us can truly have its way in our life. As we slip into a time of pure silence, again, let us breathe. Breathe into the silence. Breathe into the surrender. And as we get clear, as we get courageous about what is ours to release, we do so trust in knowing that we are never alone. The divine is always with us, as us, in us, through us. The divine supports us. The presence of every loved one in our life. We are never alone. When you hold the truth for the names of all the individuals in this prayer box, that the truth that they are not alone, that the presence of God is in, as, through, with them, and always, at all times, that they come to this realization, to this remembrance, that they remember, they reconnect with the ultimate truth that they are divine. And should there be any other names for which you would love to hold this intention as well, just bring them to mind and gently say their names out loud. In doing so, we begin the connection, the vibration, the energy of oneness activated in their lives.
Into your hands commit my spirit. I commit my spirit into your hands. Into your hands. I commit my soul. I commit my soul into your hands. Oh, I surrender. I surrender. I surrender to your hands. Into your hands. Oh, Lord. Into your hands. Into your hands. Into your hands. Into your hands. I commit my spirit into your hands. Into your hands. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender into your hands. Into your hands. Into your hands. I surrender, I surrender into your hands, into your hands, oh Lord.
Surrender. Thank you. At this time, we invite you to share your tithes and love offerings, and as the ushers prepare that, and as you prepare that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the prayer chaplains in the room and ask them to briefly stand. These prayer chaplains are wearing the white shawls, not just holding the consciousness of love during the service, but they are available to pray with you after service. Prayers of joys, prayers of concerns, prayers of celebrations. They're here for you, and we thank them for their service. Thank you. Also, one quick other announcement before we pick up our offering. As we installed the board earlier in service, you remember Peter, our treasurer. Peter, where are you? Where's Peter? Peter's back there. Peter actually was coming up. Am I supposed to be here? And you probably thought that might have been a little weird. But it's not. One of the things I want to share with you is that we are doing some staff reshuffling, if you will. I like to think of it as maximizing the potential that we have in our community. At the end of this month, Diane will be leaving. Diane, some of you know, is our office. What is her title? Office manager. I don't do titles. I just do names. Diane has been with this community for 17, 18 years. She's probably the person who's been here longest, other than Reverend Shipley, who founded the place 20-some years ago. So Diane is stepping into the next adventure of her joyous life called retirement. She can't wait. She says, I can't wait to wake up and do nothing. So we will bless her and release her on that journey in time to come. So in asking what was ours to do to really maximize the potential that we have here, as well as look at as we embark into this next adventure that some of us affectionately call Unity on the River 2.0. What is ours to do? What we realized was that perhaps the best person to slide into that position because of her depth of knowledge and the commitment she has to this organization was Jane Cowan, our current Director of Operations, and And Peter was about to end his board term this time around, and was, for some bizarre reason, thinking about not coming back on the board. And then I sat down and had a conversation with him and found out about him and the skill set that he possesses. And I said, I think I have a better idea. Why don't you come on as our director of operations as well? And so that's what he gratefully and joyfully accepted to do. So at the end of this month, Peter is going to start as our director of operations. And the upside of this is that both of these folks pretty much know most of what goes on here already, so they're making my job easier. And if you hadn't realized it yet, I make most choices, but how's gonna make my life easier? Okay, just so we know. No, I'm kidding about that. But what that means, however, is that we have the opportunity for someone to step up and consider being our new board treasurer. So if this is in your skill set in any way, shape, or form, you are interested, see one of the board members. Board members, raise your hands again. See one of the board members and say to them, hey, I might be interested in that. Tell me more about what I need to do and have to be on the board. Okay, so we're gonna open that up. And the way my life also works is that when we set the intention and we open the space and we don't freak out and panic, okay, the universe will supply our needs in the perfect time in ways higher and better than we could have imagined. Okay, so we're gonna know that and know that intention and look forward to it even being better than it's always been as whoever steps into that role. So that being said, let us take a moment to bless these gifts and offering with our statement together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Alex Valente is on the keyboard today. He's one of our guest artists. Keith Bickford on guitar. Steve Chigueras on the drums. Chuck Walker on bass. Brian Dozer's back in the sound. Jay and Karen on the back. Lacey Sacred Service. I'd like to announce my choir. Karen, Meg, Catherine, Lainey, Elaine, Pat, Judy, Monica, Barry, Lucian, Wayne, and Brian. It's great to have them here. Down in the bottom row. There's a lot of them, yay! Is Ed, Laurel, Will today on vocals, excellent. And John doing triple duty, quadruple duty here. Thank you, John. I'm really grateful for them every week. Thank you so much.
I'm about ready to build some risers. Do we have risers for the choir? Okay, we're gonna have to build some risers because they were like standing out to here today. There's not gonna be much room left for me to talk at the rate they're expanding. It's a good problem to have. Let's bring the offering up. So for these gifts, we yet again give great thanks, holding that energy of abundance of the limitless universe that is manifested here, knowing that these tithes, offerings, and gifts go towards creating the conditions for the unfoldment of spiritual community. We are so loved and we are so blessed by these, and we give thanks, and so it is. Amen. I believe Carol's got a few more announcements.
Just a few celebrations and invitations. Continuing our Wednesday night service, the Samadhi service. You're invited to come at 7 o'clock. It's with Reverend Ogun Holder, and Meg Rayne will facilitate the music. Also, today is the last Sunday to sign up for this class. It's Bible interpretation of Hebrew scriptures. Reverend Ogun is teaching it, and it is 3 Saturdays from 10 to 1, although I believe the last one is 10 to 2. Right now it's in the sanctuary, and it is $120. There's a sign-up out in hospitality. And we're also having a book study with Reverend Ogun. It is The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. There are copies of the book in the bookstore. Helpful to sign up in case we have to order more books. It's from 7 to 8:30 on Thursdays. You can see the dates. It is a love offering and a drop-in basis if you'd like to be a part of this and buy your books as soon as possible. Also, a reminder that chaplain training is right around the corner. By the way, Easter is the first Sunday in April. And 2 Friday evenings and 2 full days on Saturday. It's about 20 hours of training. It is open to you to be a chaplain here. Information outside on the bulletin board, and I'm available if you have any questions. Okay. And Maura, you introduced everybody pretty much, so just thank you, Maura, band, choir, folks in the back, Karen, PowerPoint, Jay, and Brian, and Lacey, who is our coordinator for today's service, and all of the sacred servers here at Unity on the River. Thank you. And you've met our board already, and you know who they are, but they're available. If you have any questions today, just seek them out, especially if you're interested in being treasurer. All right. So are we ready? I release.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know that the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, trying to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it go, let it all go. And this is what I have to say. I release and I let go. I let God's Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife.
time to welcome in the children? Where are the children? Here they are.
So it's safe to say we had a lot of kids today. Woo! So we talked about Lent again and how to meditate and be one with ourselves and work on things that maybe aren't so awesome and how to let them go. And we did a really cool scavenger hunt. So we had a great day.
I also want to thank Sherry for coming in, Sherry Bonder. She's helping us with our pageant. I know she's right there. And Renee's helping us with our pageant, so we were practicing for that too. Surprises for our pageant. Yes. Callers?
Anybody guess? If your child is going to be in the pageant that day, they should come wearing the same color.
The pageant's on Palm Sunday, the 29th. Okay, so I do have one announcement. It's a late announcement. Our neighbor's table, thank you everyone for bringing in items for our Easter baskets. We have to have them filled by Sunday, the 22nd, because on that day, our neighbor's table is going to have a group of people filling individual baskets for children in, I think they said 18 communities in the area. So children that the parents can't afford to get them Easter baskets will be supplied. And what they're asking, I asked them what we could do to help, and they said we could send over a group of people to help fill baskets. So if you would like to help us, your family member, youth and family, or if you're a congregant that wants to work with along with the children and parents, please see Renee. Renee's taking a group over from 1 to 3 on the 22nd, or see me. Okay? Thank you, and we'll have a sign-up sheet next week.
Let's all stand together, hold hands, as we sing the peace song. And who's doing prayer protection for me today? All right, come on, let's go.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly
Blessed. Go let it go this week.